Keep it Pyro.
Alright, it's PyroRadio.com, the Flip Life Radio Show. Special guest in the building, man like Joker Star.
Hey. What's good, everybody?
What's good, brother?
Welcome, thanks for having me up here, mate.
Don't know, it's probably overdue. Probably should have done this already, but we thought it was a Jones Brothers.
He's on his way. He said he's a couple stops away.
Oh, okay. That's calm. That's calm.
We didn't want to split up the family or not.
It's all right.
Yeah. We'll still set it off like this anyway.
Yeah.
Right, as we do on this show, we go straight into the topic before we speak about the artists, because we're just running it like that. But I can't remember the question. So B, what's the question?
Does creativity limit the fan? When the artist is in the thing. No, I can't remember.
Do fans, and I don't, we maybe shouldn't use the word fans, because Ty added the idea of industry. Do fans and people and the powers limit the creativity of artists?
I think artists wanting to please, thinking that what they're doing is going to please the fans, kind of puts them in a box. I think when you are true artists and you have the kahunas to experiment with your art, people will treat it as art, you know what I mean? Some people will appreciate it, some people won't. Some people will understand it, some people won't get it. But it's good to treat your audience like they have a bit of intelligence, that, you know, sometimes your subject matter should allow them to think outside the box, as artists sometimes think out the box, you know what I'm saying? Like,
have you ever felt limited by your audience or by the power?
No, because I think, because directly I don't know directly who my audience is, and part of me doesn't care anyway. I just do what I want to do at the time, and it also depends on the music. It also depends on the.
What do you mean by the music? What, like the beat?
Yeah, it depends on sometimes I work with a producer and I just get an idea. Like, I'll give you an example. Once I bucked up a DJ IQ off the cuff. I sent him a tune that I recorded way back, and it was an idea about making my songs and my experience, like the music was like it's just gonna sound mad chauvinistic, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Go ahead.
I treated the music like it was hose, the industry was the pimp, and it was kind of like a metaphor. That. So then he liked that song, so then we went into the studio and we made a song, and it was kind of I just built a character up for a one song idea about a pimp and a hoe, and just decided to try out my storytelling.
I don't want to have to ask him what is a hoe. Should we just keep that moving? Because I asked that the other day.
A professional hoe.
Anyway,
especially when he's using it in terms of
we could pause this whole debate. Anyway, carry on.
I don't mean pimp like. You don't mean pimp as in man who like draw things. He's not talking about gallus when he says pimp. I think he means like.
No, I know, but
man with solicitation.
I'm still saying what is a hoe. I was discussing this the other day.
It's someone that charges.
Is it
in that particular scenario with a pimp? Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just to work on my storytelling.
Yeah.
And then from that track, it turned into a whole album. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Don't worry.
So, you know, that's just an example of just letting your creativity take over. Yeah, man.
You got 3 albums.
It's magnificent.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I need to go check that.
Sometimes like ideas will come in and out, but just let them come out, man. And
that must have been a dark album.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like you're talking about content, I suppose, and like topics, subject matter,
content.
And I wasn't really. Through this whole debate, I hadn't really been thinking about that much. I'm thinking about beats.
Yeah,
like,
but also, you're right.
Yeah,
people shouldn't be afraid to try something that might not work. Because you're only gonna get, and it depends why. It all depends why the artist is what the reason the artist is doing it for.
Yeah.
Is he doing it to be experimental? Is he doing it to improve?
Yeah.
Is he doing it for fame? Is he doing it for
Yeah.
YouTube fame? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You usually make the music for the reasons why you're making the music.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It sounds a certain way. You know what I mean? So me, I've never been afraid to try. Like I might try a little double time. I might try something over dub. I do the boom bap. I do the slow samples. I do the fast samples. It's only gonna make me better because initially why I got into MCing is I wanted to be the best. So I'm always gonna push myself to the limit. Even that's how I got into battle rap. I'm not a battle rapper.
Yeah.
I didn't even really know the process of battle rapping. But for me to get better as an artist,
I love it when artists just lead us into questions we've got coming up and all of that.
Yeah, for sure. So literally, the man wanted to ask about the Don't Flop and like, how did you get involved with that? You was like one of the only black guys there when I
was probably the first. It was one of the two.
You took the cherry.
One or two. What's the guy's name who was before me?
Did you do battles before Don't Flop though?
I had my verses ready,
but I mean, like, did you enter any other battles?
Not competitions or nothing, but you know, I had verses ready where I had about 30, 40 bars that would tear man's head off.
Yeah.
But in that kind of setting, it took me a while to get used to it, man, because you know, standing that close to another man, and you have to fucking excuse my lyrics,
Come on.
Yeah, sorry. The whole process is just different.
Yeah.
In terms of like going to a studio, it's like you have to build the atmosphere and the feel from your cadence and your delivery, your dynamics, how close you are. You know, you have to be aware of the camera that's on you. You have to make sure that the footage looks good. You have to make sure that you nail certain things, and your hand movements there's a lot goes into it to being good.
There's probably a lot in that, in like feeding the audience. You literally have to give them something that they're gonna react to. Like you're in a battle, you might get booed.
I see you take them on a journey a lot of time as well, where the punchline is like 2 bars off.
I mean, like I said, I never went into it having any kind of formula. So a lot of things were trial and error, even to this day. You know what I mean? You and when you go into it like that, where you're not copying someone's style, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fall on your face. Sometimes you just flop.
Going back to Ben's point though, you being one of the only black guys battling in this league, because we come up in an era from before in hip hop music in the UK. I remember battles and events like that where it wasn't really like that. It wasn't before the whitewash. When did the whitewash happen?
The Don't Flop whitewash.
I don't know. Like, it's part of whatever this discussion of things becoming very very white in the UK hip hop scene. And we were watching a battle.
Don't focus on high flop and all that.
Don't focus. But we were watching one of your battles earlier. Who was it?
Wizard.
With Wizard, and I'm watching it and I'm like, because I've watched these, I've always discussed racism in battles and we discuss racism a lot. And with battles, it's like a bit separate. It's something it gets accepted in some other way. Yeah. But watching that battle today, I was like, this is a bit extreme. That there's a white rapper here battling a black rapper and being mad racist,
and the whole
in
crowd
front
was
of
white.
Bare white people laughing.
Yeah, it was hard for me to get used to that. You know,
that's
a part of it I never really accepted.
I watched the whole first round and didn't notice how racist Ibrahim was. Yeah, and I was like, why? But then when he was bringing it out to me, the crowd as well, when they're laughing and stuff like that, I didn't realize how bad it is. I was like, yo.
Yeah, there's people that are much worse than that.
Oh no, for sure.
Because they think
I'm chill with them and them.
Yeah, because
and they make them jokes backstage, so it's not even.
Sometimes.
No, for sure.
Yeah, because the shock value they think gets them the response that they want rather than the skills.
Yeah.
I was saying though that we as black people ain't got enough good cusses for white people, and we need to come up with way more because they're hilarious. We're really bad at it. I don't know. They're really good at it.
The white people's racist strokes are hilarious.
Yeah. No, white people. No, white people are hilarious.
That's what I thought you meant at first. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But we never cuss them well. It's like
I think the context, it doesn't have the same kind of.
There's no burn
power
to it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can say what you can. You know what I mean?
So do you think we need to do something like it's just accepted in battle rap and in other things?
They've set their own rules, like man, they accept that.
Like, that there's no rules.
They think they can. You know, they step over the line.
Who are they?
In some instances.
I realize how much people go at Earth for being Asian. I didn't realize that until recently as well.
Man. Like you know,
I just don't get it. Like to me, people. I have had this debate with people when people are like, it's battle rap, there can't be rules, and I fully get that. But I'm like, there are certain rules in communities, isn't it? Like, where it's like you can't say certain things around, man, and because someone's gonna switch, or like you got more respect than that.
Yeah, so within that, there's no repercussions because of the people that are involved. Like some people don't have it. Like you know, some people will put hands on people they don't battle rap. Like I had to learn to have thick skin. So they won't battle. Yeah, brother, that's part of why I wouldn't ever do it. I find that.
Yeah. Not even on the race.
You have to respect that. You have to decide, innit? You have to decide if you're going to do that I'm going to accept whatever they're going to say, and that's part of it.
I mean, you could always have words with them afterwards, off camera. You know, and make sure that, you know.
What would you say about Wesley Snipes, fam?
Keep it pyro.
Hey yo, it's PyroRadio.com. Sound of Sweet Potato. Jones Brothers. It's actually don't know. It's actually, that one was actually Joker Star solo, but now we're done with the Joker Star thing. It's the Jones Brothers feature now.
It is easier.
Anyway, the God, bless you for coming down. How do you feel about Joker Star just playing his solo song off the project?
It's one of my favorite tunes still.
Some banger though. I was feeling it. Shout out to LA. That was banging.
Yeah, shout out LA, the producer. The thing.
Welcome down. So tell us about the Jones Brothers. Break it down. How did this project come into making?
Well, I've known Anyway the God for almost 10 years now, like through friends of friends. One of his close brethren let me know he rapped, so just for experience, I let him come to studio sessions, come to shows, come to interviews. We recorded a project, maybe how long ago was that thing? Maybe about 4 years ago. That ain't gonna see the light of day. Not gonna go into it. It's a painful subject. You know what I mean?
I know them ones, man. It gets like that.
Yeah. Could have got peak, but
it stayed in the basement.
It's gonna stay there till whatever. So
now you made this one, there's no need.
So yeah, man, like just through years of features and him doing shows with me and him trying to do his own thing, and you know, it's a long process. Sometimes you can get kind of bowled under with, you know, just life and stuff, man. So we just decided, look, we got LA to send us some beats, had some verses together.
She did the whole project.
Yeah, she did the whole project. Like we just slapped some verses together, recorded it with man like Crossbone T.
So it's you three. You are the three rappers on it.
Yeah. Me, Crossbone T, Anyway the God. Yeah, man, and it just came together like that. It was just verses patched together. You know what I mean? Over some beats, 2-3 sessions, record it, edit it, give it a mix, master,
and just
put it together. Yeah, man. Give it out a little 10-week release.
Yeah, it's out. Is it public or is it out?
Next week. Next Tuesday.
Next week.
29th.
Oh, right. 29th. And where are people going to be able to get it from?
All reputable. However you say that.
Digital vendors. We've had bare moments today. I call them Nori moments.
Yeah.
Bare reppy.
So my Bandcamp and all iTunes and all them other good ones, you know what I mean? Even the bad ones.
Done know.
Okay, so you missed this because you was late. And we're going to talk about that dope ass hat in a minute. We're going to come right back to it. I don't know why you're not wearing right now. You're on camera, but it's okay.
For the headphones.
Boy, certain sacrifices have to be made for the dope hat. But anyway, do you think fans limit artists' creativity? Not just fans, like the industry as well.
For me, it depends. My point of view, it depends. I think for artists like ourselves, I don't think it does. Especially, well, for his experience, he knows how to tailor certain things to fit both. You know, do things that you like doing, or because to me, I came in talking about what I wanted to talk about, and I got reputation from that. So to stop doing that or to do things just palatable to, do you know what I mean, is growth. To me, it's like a Beyonce. It's like Destiny's Child to what she is now. It's big contrast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you grow with. So to me, it does. It depends on what kind of fans you have and what you're in it for. That's.
All right, so this is a question to both of you, yeah? Let's say tomorrow you're both bumping like a Beyonce album or Prince album, and you just heard some falsetto, and I'm gonna make a whole album in falsetto, as high as I can. Like I'll do whatever I can, auto tune, whatever, just like the whole album, yeah. Do you think your fans would be receptive?
It's down to the artist to make them find a way.
Yeah,
It's down to the artist to make it relatable.
So if you felt like it, you would.
Of course, why not?
This feels too specific. Have you thought about doing this?
No. You just hit my falsetto. It's amazing, but I'm saying that it's just something extreme. Something that I know that's probably not what you're thinking of doing right now. So I was thinking if you had an extreme thought to do like an extreme left turn on your music, would you do it, or would you feel limited by what you've done already?
I wouldn't feel limited. And I agree with what
it's down to how artistic you are,
right.
man. Like, there's nothing that says you have to make music like this unless you think that you have so much to lose to try and experiment. You know what I mean? You get to the levels that you are through experimentation. Why stop?
Yeah.
Why stop elevating yourself because you think this part of. Some people do it for money, so we'll just use that as an analogy. They choose certain beats, rap a certain way, you know what I mean? Choose a certain sound, and they just want to stay there because, you know what I mean? But things always move on.
So another question to both of you: if you do experiment and it doesn't work, do you keep trying, or do you just stop there? Like, no, it's not for me.
Like I said, it's down to the artist, man. Some artists are soft, innit? Some artists are soft, so they're just gonna do what they think is right, or if they do what they're told to do. The artists that kind of usually stick to a certain formula. Let me take that statement back because that would be a false statement. Because even if you're referring it to UK hip hop, like. People are stuck in a bubble, innit, sometimes. So there's fear of just being original. Hip hop was built on not trying to sound like anybody else.
If you do something,
where has that gone?
Yeah.
Do you feel like? Go on. If
you do something and you try something, you're experimenting, and you stop because fans ain't receptive, then you're doing it for the fans.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I think some people do. So I'm glad to hear you guys are doing your thing and what you feel to do and love. Something I wanted to ask before, actually. Do you feel like you're part of the UK hip hop scene?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't, because my music doesn't sound like it's from the hip hop scene. I don't rap like I'm from the hip hop.
Okay, and when you answer that, what is the UK hip hop scene then that you're referring to?
It has a certain sound and feel, doesn't it? A certain content that is repeated and repeated and repeated over and over again.
I'm not going to ask what the content is or who you're talking about. But I mean, like, so do you not feel you're a part of it because you've not tried to reach for that? Or do you feel like you've been rejected by them in terms of that they're too much of a closed circle?
Well, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do regardless, and people are going to feel it, people are going to hate it regardless.
There's certain people that will probably like, Joker Star, he performs a lot, he's in the UK hip hop scene. If he's not in it, then I'm not in it at all. You know what I'm saying? There'll be people looking at it like
everyone can feel how they want to feel. You know what I mean? The thing is, like, I don't need restrictions in it. I don't need the UK hip hop thing over my head. Like, I do what I want to do.
I don't care about that thing either. but I know I come from that scene in a certain way. Like people will look at me and go, he's from that, and I've always been like, bun that. But I feel like I know you through that circle as well. I've known you for a long time.
My bloodline is through pioneers.
Yeah. So do you feel like do you feel like you felt a part of it at a different time?
I've been taught by it, so my DNA is from them. You know what I mean? Then it's down to me when I pass the baton. See if I pass it to the left, you can hear he talks like me. You know what I mean? That's my influence there. Don't box yourself to feel like you have to represent UK. You represent yourself. Represent your family. Represent whatever you want to represent in your music. Man. It don't have to sound like it did from 86. 80s don't sound like 90s. 90s don't sound like 2000. 2000 don't sound like...
Was that a statement that UK hip-hop sounds like it's from 86? Can we quote that?
No, UK hip hop don't sound like it.
No, or whatever.
There's people. There's
Star
people.
was born in 86.
There's people. I was born in 1980. You know what I mean?
You born in 1980?
I'm 86.
What Joker Star's older than me?
Like a still.
Handsome. Oh. Know what I mean?
He said I was born in 86. Anyway, the God is from 86. So, alright, we got a lot of hip hop generations in the house today.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say is that, you know, there are people who people would say are in UK hip hop that have tried different things at a certain time. You know what I mean? When Skinny did the smoking tune.
I was gonna say the same one because I know people hurted him up.
You know what I mean?
He got hurted hard.
Do your thing. If that's what's in you, do your thing, and people will respect it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Well, no, certain people from the game. Like I was talking to another rapper from the scene who all of us know. I'm not gonna name him right now because he's good people's. But he was talking to me like, remember when Skinny tried to do the grime thing? I was like, rah. I didn't even think of it like that. I just thought like, obviously that's what he was doing, but my man was looking down on it. Like he should have just stuck with what he knows. You know what I'm saying?
The mad thing with Skinny though, he always did the double time thing. Like we used to do the Dead Prez hip hop instrumental and spit like that before grime existed. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But he was gonna do a mixtape called "Cancel the State of Grime" at that when he did that song. It just didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I thought it was dope.
But I can understand the mindset of people that are in that mode of stay in your lane because, you know, that lane has been good to them. Like Billy Danz gave me some advice, you know what I mean? And I took it, I used some, I didn't use some, but you know, I always go out to listen to the elders that have been there and done that, and you know, I've got 20, 30 years plus in doing it. They've got gems.
Shout out to MOP.
Advice. But sometimes they don't apply to where your headspace is at or what you want to kind of achieve, whether it's a small or long goal. You know what I mean?
Also, if you're trying to do something that ain't been done, there's no real way to explain to someone who's even walked in your shoes at the same stage. I'm trying to do something that hasn't never been done before in a way like, so they'll tell you, no, you got to do this, you got to do that. It's like, no, I'm trying to do something that's undone yet.
Yeah, man. Like, no fear, man. Like, that's what restricts artists, is the fear of not being accepted.
Yeah.
No, fun that.
One more content question. Do you consider yourselves conscious rappers?
That's you answer, then I answer.
I think if you're not conscious, you're dead, man. So, like, what is conscious?
I like that. Yeah, I like that. So all rappers are conscious.
Yeah, man. Of course,
some are dead. Some are dead.
Some might be on drugs, but you know what you're doing.
They're still conscious, though.
You still know what you're doing.
What do you mean by conscious?
Like,
what do you mean by drugs?
they're awake, innit? Like they're performing like a vocal in a song. They're conscious. They're
you mean they're aware of
the lights are switched on to a degree. They may be dim.
I think initially it was an artist's duty to let people know what's going on where you're from, innit? Like, you know, you are a kind of
I think
beacon of
the new term is woke. Are you man woke?
No, I just don't talk rubbish.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there's
like no. Honestly, because obviously I hear you man say God a lot.
Yeah.
There's some 5% knowledge in there, like.
Yeah, but
I think we all have that
Yeah,
in us
kind
because
of.
we all
No.
listen to Wu-Tang.
Yeah, I think
Raised-
Bear Man ain't got none of that.
well,
we listen to you're a Wu-Tang fan.
Yeah,
Then you
yeah.
know what I'm talking about or what he's talking about.
You said it.
There's reference points to who you're talking to, innit? So you know if you're
86,
talking,
man.
if you're
You know what I
talking,
mean?
if you're talking certain lyrics or certain slang or certain terminology, you're you know who's listening.
I started listening to Wu at like 12, 11. So I got that Jizz album. I was like, year 7, just year
it's
7.
it's ingrained.
I didn't know what they was talking about till I was a grown man. Like till I was like 16, 17. That's not a grown man. But when I was,
But you
when
know,
I was a lot
but you
older.
know why though? Because it's ingrained in you, innit? It's become
Yeah, because I knew the lyrics off by
Yeah.
heart.
there you
and
go.
yeah, man.
You translate it later.
Because you know the God thing, you know, Charlemagne. There's a lot of gods
yeah.
of man that I know. Them man actually probably did study with the 5% for a period of time. You know what I'm saying? Like they probably did.
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z's rocking that chain. Jay-Z was probably with them, man. But us man over here, we just acknowledge it, kind of.
Yeah.
I got schooled in it.
Okay.
I was schooled.
That's
in
what
it.
I was trying to ask.
From
Is that something that you know of the runnings of it? Yeah.
Yeah.
From family or
Well,
just
yeah,
ends?
family. It's family.
Okay.
Family.
I mean,
Upbringing.
where we're from, the ends like, you know, the Nation of Islam had a strong presence in the community. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'll be walking, like, for instance, give you some of real life, picking up my mum from a pension club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see Leo X Chester
Okay.
from what's the
Leo Muhammad.
From Real McCoy.
Real McCoy
Yeah.
standing outside.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've had numerous conversations. A few of my elders used to be in the NOI.
Okay.
So, so there's a direct influence, even though if I may not understand what's going on.
But there's a hip hop influence as
yeah,
well.
there's a hip hop influence, and, you know, they've kind of influenced me.
Who
to
was
an
it?
extent.
M9 come down here a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know when he come down, months ago. And I was saying a lot of that's not in hip hop because it's not in New York no more. Because hip hop's in Atlanta and that whole school of thought is not, because hip hop when it was in New York, that's a big New York thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, man.
Well, New York never stood strong. It didn't stand firm. When Little John and them man came with the pimp cups, you know what I mean? They didn't stand firm. They tried to imitate.
Teeth and
They tried to imitate instead of
You
innovate.
made a Pimp Cup album as well, though. You just told us.
Yeah,
a while ago.
magnificent. Yeah, man. You know, sometimes
Was that a conscious rap album as well?
That was like I said when I linked with IQ.
Yeah.
In a way, it was just a creative album. I didn't expect that album to come. It just went how it was. I just went with the creativity at the time.
Dope.
And maybe the books that I was reading at the time. You know what I mean?
Is pimping easy?
It's not easy.
It ain't.
I've studied it. It's not easy. It's not reputable. It's not something you should do.
No, it's not.
Know what I
it's
mean?
not.
This is, you know, have respect for women. You know what I mean? Especially.
The project exemplifies that.
You know what I mean?
Gives you the whole from the start to the.
I mean,
I'm
it
gonna have to
doesn't.
listen to this
The thing is, it
properly.
doesn't.
Definitely
The thing is, when I do projects like that, it doesn't glorify the good times.
Don't glorify.
It shows the horrible side, the paranoia. It shows the. I mean, it's a wicked album.
Yeah, it is.
Know what I mean?
Because
If
You ain't got a song
haven't
about free money.
story.
free money.
No, you're working for that still, no?
Well, backhand here. No, I get it.
Where's this going?
Anyway, to get back to get back to the real topic, and before we wrap this up, what advice would you give to any other artists who are caught in this kind of idea where they are making one sound, whether it be a really like pressure to do something really commercial for the mainstream because they're in that, have those opportunities, or whether they're in the underground and they feel like, I can't experiment because I'm gonna be judged.
If you're an artist, you're not signed, and you have 100% control of the content and the beats that you put out, try a whole load of stuff, man. Like you never know what what is gonna hit. You may think you got hits, you don't have hits, but you might have that song that may touch people in a certain way with either the content that you have or the music that you pick or just the combination of both. But you'll never know unless you have no fear and just do what is in your do how you feel, man. Like some of my best songs don't have the best content, but I go with the feel. I get into the groove of what the beat is saying. It's kind of an artistic way of speaking, but sometimes you just gotta go with your gut feeling.
I definitely agree with that, man.
Sometimes the best stuff comes out of you when you're not putting pressure on yourself to say, I gotta say this and I gotta sound like this, and don't compare yourself to anybody is the advice I'd give you. And just be free with the music and free with how you're thinking and what content comes out of your mouth, because you never know. If you're making music just for the sake of making hits, then understand it's gonna sound restricted in a certain way because you already have an idea of what you think people like, but maybe you haven't given a chance to people to find out what they like about you. What an ending.
Whoa. Woo, that was deep. I can't lie. I had a question.
Brother.
I was like, there's too much knowledge. I'm not gonna let him stop. He has got to keep running. Yeah, because my question is so frivolous now. I feel mad stupid. But these times here, yeah, in the Jones Brothers, whose hat game is better?
Listen, have you seen my man look like he came fresh?
Yo,
fresh from yard, you know what I mean?
The hat game is strong, fam.
Listen, there's no contest.
Keep it pyro.